All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening.
What's the word, boxing fans? It's your boy Los with Boxing and Basketball, Face of Boxing TV, and I am here today with legendary trainer Robert Garcia. Robert, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great.
Awesome. Glad to hear. I'm glad to have you here in the East Coast. You are probably one of the trainers that I've been, familiar with for the last few years. With you training the likes of Chino Maidana and fighters of that caliber. Robert, how do you feel about Bam's fight with Pedro Guevara? What challenges does Guevara bring to the table, and how do you think the matchup will play out?
Look, Bam is in great shape. He always trains very hard for every fight, so it's not going to make a difference from Pedro Guevara to Gallo Estrada. He always trains hard. He's a very dedicated kid. So we're going to go out there to put a great performance. We also know that Pedro Guevara is a challenger that comes, with the hunger to become or to get the position that Bam's at right now.
Absolutely.
So those guys are always going to be dangerous, man. That's why Bam always takes every fight seriously because anybody that challenges Bam or any other superstar in boxing, they're motivated to win and to take that position. So we know that those fights are never going to be easy. So he's in great shape.
Absolutely. In the Estrada fight, Bam had him in the back feet, and Bam was landing great shots against Estrada, but Estrada was able to knock Bam out. And in one of the rounds, I believe it was in the 6th round, Bam was able to get back.
Knock him down.
Yeah, knock him down.
Yeah.
He was able to get back up quick. Even smirked at it because of how funny he found it to be. Was there anything about that fight that he was able to implement into this training camp that will not allow something like that to happen in this fight per se?
I think that was actually a perfect thing that it happened, because it happened against a legendary champion. Gallo Estrada is Hall of Famer. So I was actually not that I'm happy about it, but I think it was a good thing that it happened against somebody like Gallo Estrada, just to make them understand that anybody could go down. You have to be prepared. You can't think fights are easy. A round before that, I did remind Bam, be careful, don't get too confident, because it started to get to a point where Bam was already too comfortable, didn't have any wasn't caring much about getting hit, because he knew he was in control of the fight. He was landing. He was pretty much punishing Gallo, and he got a little too confident. And I said around before, look, this guy has experience. He's a world champion. He's we still have half the fight ahead, and experience could play a big part. And then he gets dropped in the next round. So that was actually a great learning experience for Bam. That it happened against somebody like Gallo. That was actually something that I'm actually, obviously I'm not happy that he got dropped, but it's something that I'm not mad about that either, because he needed something like that.
Absolutely. I mean, after that 6th round, we were able to see him come back in the 7th, and completely decimate Estrada. Was there something in the corner specifically that you told him that was, that made him just go out there and was like, this is the end of it. This is where I kill it?
No. There was no, he landed a great body shot, because I did tell him, start working on the body now, because experience, guys with a lot of experience are going to get better and better in the later rounds, and we were barely half the fight through. So I said, look, we still have half of the fight. Experience, Gallo's experience, Gallo's, just being in it for so many years, just done it so many times, that I said, look, the fight might get harder, so I want you to start working the body. You already landed a lot of headshots, start working the body, and landed the perfect shot, and the fight was over. But I still believe that the fight could have got a little bit harder because of experience.
Robert, right now, the boxing fans, obviously, the fight they want to see, Bamming, is the one with Inoue. How far away would you say that fight is right now for Bam? Because Bam himself said, right now that's a fantasy fight. He understands there's a lot of other things he has to, get out the way before that comes to fruition. But where he stands now, how realistic would a fight like that be?
I think the fight will happen eventually. There is 2 weight divisions. I think it's going to be at I'd say 2-3 years before Bam gets to that division. And if Inouye's still there, then the fight's done, pretty much. But by then, I don't know if Inoue might be going to featherweight, maybe even junior lightweight. I really don't know what the plans are. But do I think the fight will happen eventually? I think it will. Anytime soon. The only thing that I would probably say that if the fight could happen anytime soon is if they both met halfway. Bam moves up to 118 and Inoue gets down to 118, and we could do the fight next year.
Which would be a fire fight.
Yeah, it would be a great fight if Inoue was willing to get down to 118, which he's already been at 118 pounder. He's been a 108 pounder.
Yeah.
So I don't know how hard it would be. Obviously, his body, his age has developed to super bantamweight, junior featherweight. But I don't know if he could make bantamweight. We're 3 pounds, difference from bantamweight. So I don't think that's a big difference for Bam. I think Bam could compete at bantamweight. If Inoue was willing to come down to 118, then we could do the fight sooner. But if not, then it'll take 2-3 years from now.
Do you think there's any particular venues or locations where this fight would attract more fans? I mean, we're used to seeing Inoue only fighting in Japan. I don't believe he's even debuted in the United States yet. Do you think a fight with Bam would be like the perfect debut for him?
No, I know he has in the States already. He's fighting in the States, and the fans in the States are following him, are starting to tune in. I think him versus Bam in the States would be huge, but it just I don't think it'll be as big as if the fight was in Tokyo. I think the Tokyo Dome, or there's a big stadium over there. I think it would be so big. I think it'll sell out, and they would do really good numbers on TV and in the gate. So I think that fight actually belongs in Tokyo.
Yeah, definitely. They in recent days in the news, in the media, there's been chat of potential Canelo Inoue card. A card like that, let's say with the likes of Canelo versus Benavidez and Inoue, Bam, that would be explosive, would it?
Man, that fight would probably generate so much, but it would also have a lot of greed between Inoue and Canelo, because Canelo is the superstar, and he's gonna want to be the superstar. Same thing with Inoue. He's the superstar, and he's gonna be so it's gonna be something between them where who's gonna be the headliner, who's gonna be the. So I don't think it would be that easy if they do a fight together, like they've been talking about maybe in Japan. It's probably not that big of a fight when it comes to opponents. They could do a fight together. With Canelo fighting somebody that people might not be too excited, and Inoue, same thing with Inoue, but both are performing, so it would generate a lot. But if they're both fighting, Canelo fighting somebody like Benavidez and Inoue somebody like Bam, then I don't think it's something that would happen on the same card. It would be on their own card. It would be kind of a mistake to do it in one card when those two fights
they sell out no matter what.
Are going to be so big by themselves. They don't need to help each other out. I think if they do a fight together with Canelo and Inoue, it'll probably be against opponents that nobody really cares. They just want to see them in the same card.
Absolutely.
That's a big difference. But look, we're there. We're getting closer and closer. So any of those fights would be huge for for us to see as boxing fans too, man. It would be awesome.
Of course. Those are the fights that the boxing fans are calling for, and the ones that we want to see. And Robert, last question before I let you go. Going back to tonight's fight. If you could give us a prediction, how does this fight end tonight?
It's gonna be a great performance, man. I think Pedro Guevara is a great champion. Mexican fighters are always willing to die in the ring. They go in there with all their heart. So we're gonna go be in there in a good fight. I never predict. Especially when it comes to my fighters. I just want to know that he's in great shape, and Pedro Guevara is also in great shape, and we're gonna put up a great fight.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, legendary trainer Robert Garcia. Thank you very much for your time today, Robert.